Today we're diving into card making basics. So if you ever wanted to make a handmade card but didn't know where to start, I got you covered. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple design step by step using just a couple stamps, ink, and a blending brush, and maybe even a stencil. Now, I am going to share some future videos with this same concept but different approach. So be sure to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's get started. In my first approach, I had gone through my stash and I picked out a sentiment set, and I also picked out a stamp set with a really cute image on it. So what I did is I placed those stamps or those images that I wanted to use on a card front just to get an idea. Now, the sets that I'm going to be using today is the Just Sayin stamp set, and I also have the Sweet Treat Critters, which is where that really cute image comes from. There is a die set for the Just Saying. You can use the Just Saying die set separately, or that shadow layer does die cut out the Just Saying on the stamp set. I'm going to go ahead and start stamping my image. So I did want to do a little coloring. This is definitely personal preference. So I'll cover some other topics using different images later on in future videos. I'm using Hammermill Cardstock and I stamped it in an alcohol-friendly ink. This happens to be the Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink. I stamped the two images and then I'm drying it with my heat tool to reduce the risk of smearing my ink when I start coloring. I'm going to be using my Olo markers today to do my alcohol coloring, but you could use Copic markers, you could use colored pencils, or even watercolor, and it doesn't have to be fancy. I do try to take into consideration where shadows may lay, and that is just because when I started early on in coloring, I did take some classes online, so I kind of have a basic concept of shadows. So with the mouse, I think it's a mouse, I had put my darkest color of my marker, which I usually use like a three color combination. I put the darkest color right up next to where the mouse meets the muffin because I feel like the muffin would be casting a shadow there, and then just blend it out with my lighter colors. You can see it is very, very faint as far as shadows go. The muffin that the mouse is holding, I did some, I don't know what it's called, maybe speckling. I can't remember what they call it, but I colored it in with a light color and then just added dots with the darkest colors of my markers to make it look a little textured. It was going to look like a banana nut muffin, is what was on my brain at the time. And for the donuts, I'm keeping them fairly simple. So the base of the donuts, I'm pretty much keeping all of the same color. That really helps minimize the amount of markers I have on my desk and also helps it so I don't feel super overwhelmed. So keeping all of my donuts that same color helps tremendously. Then I have a cookie over here, so I did bring in a darker shade just because that's a cookie that needed to stand out a little bit. For the frosting on all of my items there, I am just using a really light gray. Again, I didn't want to overwhelm myself or the project. There are times where I like to get super colorful with my markers, but in some cases, simplicity is, I don't want to say best, but it is very visually pleasing to the eye at times. And that also just helps me, like I said, minimize what I have on my desk. I added a few speckles or sprinkles with some light pinks. I have a strawberry there on top of my cupcake, so I did some reds for a nice bright pop of color. But that bright pop of color is very, very small. So again, that color is not overwhelming my project. And these are all things that I just kind of think about as I start coloring. Now, after everything is done, I lined up the coordinating die cut them all out, and then I used the rest of the cardstock to die cut out another one with the coordinating die to add it behind my colored piece. I do that almost all the time because I like to have just that little bit of stability behind my images. Here's where I start kind of planning out my design. I wanted to add color to this, but I really didn't want to do an entire blended background, although that would be super cute. Again, though, I'm trying to keep this fairly minimal. So I brought out my A2 masks and I was debating between how much of a white edge I wanted to leave. I decided to go with this smaller one. I can always add more color or flip the cardstock over later if I wanted to do the larger one, but I thought I would start small. I placed a piece of white cardstock, this is Hammermill cardstock, onto a sticky mat, and then I placed the stencil over the top. The stencil actually does have an etching on it so that you can line it up perfectly with an A2 size card front, and that means my rectangle in the center is going to be perfectly lined up. I'm inking up that rectangle with cheeky ink from Simon Says Stamp and a blending brush. I kept it so a lot of the color was on the outside edge and then faded off as I got towards the center. So almost creating a very minimal highlight. This is also something I do a lot, and I may not always show in videos, but I'm always bringing my images and sentiments in to double check how it's all looking as I go along. A couple things I already knew ahead of time was that I wanted to stamp this large sentiment and die cut it out so I could pop it up on the front of my card. And then the smaller sentiment, I wanted stamped directly onto the card front. That's a look that's very appealing to me. So I stamped out the Just Saying using Versafine ink. Again, I'm drying that with a heat tool because Versafine likes to stay wet a little longer, but it is a very nice crisp black. So once I dried it, I die cut it out with the coordinating die, set it off on the side, and then I brought my blended panel into my Misti. Again, laying out all of my images, kind of double checking the layout, and also making sure I have perfect placement of that smaller sentiment. I apologize for my head getting in the way, but sometimes you need to do that. You need to look directly over your stamping positioner to make sure that that sentiment is lined up straight, which I could double check with the lines that are on the door of the Misti. Now, again, I am stamping that in that Versafine ink, being very, very gentle. I don't want to push too hard and squish the letters because that's just not going to look very good. I can always double stamp it if I need to. Now, here is another tip. I have a side folding card base that I created. I like to fold up or roll up some post-it tape to keep it closed. And then I added tape runner to the front, and I could go ahead and stand up my card base and then add my top panel. So keeping it closed like that with a low tack tape really helps. I added my sentiment by popping it up with some thin foam squares. So it's going to have just a little bit of dimension there. And then I added my little critter on top of my little goodie pile there. And I added those two together with the thin foam squares as well. Now, one thing I really, really love about this design is the flow. So I started up in the top left hand corner, and you can see it kind of goes down at a diagonal on my card front down to the bottom right hand corner. And that is just very pleasing to the eye to have that nice flow on your card front. Now, typically, I would have added some splatters to my background, but I wanted to keep this fairly simple and just very beginner friendly for you. Splatters, I know, can be very intimidating to people. So I hope the tips that I have shared in this quick tutorial help you in your card making process. If you're interested in any of the supplies that I'm using today, I will have them linked down below in the video description and over on my blog. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for joining.